The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Tastes just like candy.
Are you there, guys? Me, Mark.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask for Candy, where a bunch of powerhouse women and a few brave dudes get together to talk about love, sex, relationships, and what it takes to be amazing on the daily. Who I am Candice Harper, lovecoach.com, honey, coming to you live from the J Suites, which is like a hotel for offices in NYC. I teach and inspire audacious intimacy to powerful, professional, grown women who want real relationships from seductive singlehoods. And more importantly, I help single city women over 35 who have given up on love stand boldly in their purpose, stop getting ghosted, and create unconditional love. Happy Monday, everybody. Woo! We got a whole bunch of new fun faces in the house, and we have some of our regular faces in the house, which you guys on the Facebook may not be able to see, but you guys on the audio, you know, we have Kenya and Barbara who are always with us. Tonight I also have Shanton and Aaron, and I have Fern, and I have a very special guest who I'm going to introduce in a moment. But first, you may be listening to us on your TuneIn app, on your smart device, on Armed Radio Global, or maybe you're in the garden on armedradioglobal.com. Also, we're on iHeartRadio, so if you have an Alexa, you can ask for Candy. And for the streamers, we're available on Spotify and Spreaker. So if you're here live on Facebook, Jim, I can hear you. As always, you guys know, sometimes Jim comes through because he forgets to turn his volume down. I hear you in there, Jim. I see the live people on Facebook. I have Eddie, I have Lee, I have Dwayne who joined. Hi, Lee says hello, everybody. Say hello, Lee.
Hello, Lee. Hello, hon.
Right. Also, you can call in at 1-800-508-5431. Jim, you're very loud, honey. Can you hear me?
Very loud.
I don't know. The Armed Radio Global listeners, let Jim know that we can hear him. And those of you on Facebook, feel free to comment. Dwayne says, hey. So, like I said, actually, let's take a moment before we introduce Alena and before we really get into everything. I want to take a moment to make sure that we're on all the live outlets that we want to be on. So everybody who's in the room who has a device to share on, and those of you even out there on Armed Radio, you're already on it?
Got it.
Good.
All right, let me make sure. I want to make sure that we go on the Armed Radio page.
Yes.
Right. Take advantage of this.
There we are.
Here we are.
Woo!
We're sharing Armed Radio. Wait, hold on. I don't know. I guess we should be vamping while we're sharing.
Vamping?
All right, so I shared to the Armed Radio page. I'm going to share to my own group too as we're talking. But you know what? First, I want to go ahead and get us into it so I can introduce you, Alena. So, like I said, I'm Candice Harper, lovecoach.com. My talent is conversation. My passion is personal growth. My purpose is to teach and inspire audacious intimacy and radical self-acceptance in myself and others so that we can all have our best possible love life. And that is why this is a conversation. We're not here to hand down a bunch of dating and relationship rules. We're not here to give you rights or wrongs. We're not here to shame your love situation. No. Our only intention is to create audacious intimacy, seductive singlehoods, and healthy relationships. So tonight and every Monday night, we're going to do what we do, which is have a conversation that engages, educates, and or enlightens all of us in the areas of love, sex, relationships, and vibrating high. And tonight's topic, Quality Time with Alena, we're going to be talking about thriving after divorce or a bad breakup.
That's right.
And my special guest, Alena Chapman, not just a thought leader or spiritual transformation leader. Alena Chapman is a soul nurturer. I love that. Whose company, Chapman Life Institute, works with clients to identify what they really want to achieve in life. Alena is a 2-time international best-selling author, has more than 30 years of deep study with Bob Proctor and Dr. Wayne Dyer. Dr. Wayne, right?
I know.
And has created a truly remarkable community on Facebook for anyone to join called the savvy sisterhood. I'm in it. Girls, get over there and get in it. Can the boys be in it too?
Yes, boys can
The boys can join it too.
You can join it. I just want to learn.
Right? We just want to learn and we want to grow together.
Yes,
that's what
grow,
it's all about.
And grow and support each other.
Right?
And be friends. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Alena's new book, The Prison Effect, is available with gifts on AlenaChapmanLife.com.
That's right.
Is that right? Okay. Also, enjoy 30-minute moments with Alena on WoWo.com. That's WOWO. WoWo.
And podcast. It's on everything.
It's on all the platforms.
And it's for ease and betterment in your life.
I love that. That's ease. That's my captain word this year, right?
I love that word.
Give yourself a little ease and betterment each day of the week. To learn more about Alena Chapman, visit Alena360.com. And here is Alena Chapman, everybody. Welcome, honey. I'm so glad that you're here.
What a doll.
You too. Hi, my love.
Hi.
So what do you want to say to the people to get related, say hi, know a little bit about you that's personal? Because I feel like I just gave your sort of professional thing.
Okay. Well, we're talking about thriving after divorce. Well, my divorce, I'll tell a little bit personal. Okay. So my divorce was a very long divorce, over 6.5 years.
Woo!
And yeah, fighting for my kids and everything else. I have 3 beautiful, beautiful boys. And then alongside that, by some reason or whatever, and I cannot say it's related to divorce, but my family and I were personally attacked for about 5.5 years.
Wow.
So from the point where I had to move to a house that was strategically protected in ways that I knew they couldn't get to us.
Oh my God.
So with that, am I thriving after divorce? I definitely am.
Yeah?
Yeah, I could have ended up, though, bitter, very unhappy, swallowing in my woes of how hard life is, and never moving on. It's a choice.
Absolutely.
But how do you do it?
Yeah, that's what we're going to get into, right?
That's right.
We're going to deep dive.
We are going to deep dive.
I love it. Awesome. Okay,
You didn't know all that, did you?
I didn't know all that. I'm like, whoa, mind blown. Now, really, I love this. That's the thing about the podcast, too. I get to know the guest and, develop a deeper understanding.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you for sharing that,
You're
too.
welcome.
Yeah,
You're
I appreciate that. So, the goal of this show is to get to know you even more, Alena, and also to inspire you guys. What does it take to create a happy life after divorce? Or, after a hard breakup and live without limits, because that's what we all want to do, right? We want to live without limits. I see Fern, hi Fern, who's here, is also on the Facebook Live, and Rayon and Valentino is here. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so Alena, I have some questions for you.
Oh boy.
And then we're going to open it up because I also have some client questions that I brought with me.
Okay.
Our in-studio audience might have some questions or some things that they want to participate with, or, things that they want to it's laying on their heart and they feel inspired and they just want to share. So we're just going to open up the conversation.
Yeah.
All right. But we're going to start with you a little bit.
Sure.
So your book, The Prison Effect.
The Prison Effect.
Just for the people at home listening, tell us about The Prison Effect and what are some of the takeaways? What is the basic gist?
I wrote The Prison Effect. Actually, I started journaling during my divorce.
Okay.
Because I was learning so much, even more than I had been, and I wanted to get it down. So I just started journaling. I didn't know it was going to be a book.
Yeah.
And when finally I had something this thick, and then I met Bob Proctor, one of my mentors, and he said, honey, you got a book.
Yeah.
You need to get it out there. And that's when I started getting my books out there.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, it's all about the tools of how I began to thrive and actually survive that kind of divorce and thrive afterwards.
Yeah.
It really is. And there are tools, there are ways to do it. And do you want to know the number one?
Well, if you're willing to share it.
Of course. Forgiveness. It's forgiveness.
I love that.
It's forgiveness.
Yeah.
And until you, and I mean, it's really forgiveness. It's never that forgiveness and, but I've been wronged.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to let go of that, because if you don't let go of that, it will carry through to every other relationship, through every other job, through how you treat your kids, everything.
Yeah. No, I absolutely believe that.
Forgive and let go.
Yeah.
Forgive and let go.
Yeah.
It's freedom.
I hear that.
It is.
Okay, so here's the thing, though, because I know there's people out there who are like going through, and when we get to the client questions too, there's people out there who are like, yeah,
really,
right. Or, a lot of times what I find, because I also believe in forgiveness as a first step too, is, sort of clearing the past or releasing the past, a way to do that.
Right.
A lot of times what people will say is, oh, I've forgiven them. I'm not ever speaking to them again. You know what I mean? Or
it's not forgiveness.
Yeah. It's like, not a full understanding, I don't think. Of what
it's
really
not.
Is. Yeah.
It is totally forgiving and letting go. And what it does, and we feel like we can't forgive because, my gosh, look what he did to me, or what she did to me. How could I dare forgive? They betrayed me.
Yeah.
That. But the thing is, forgiveness is not for them.
Yeah.
They don't care. I'm serious. They don't care.
Yeah.
Who cares is you.
Yeah.
You're the one who's carrying it. You're the one who's taking every cell in your body and you're polluting it with that goodness.
Yeah.
You're the one that's blocking the connection to your spirituality, to God, with that block of non-forgiveness.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a quick story. Do you want to hear a quick story?
Yeah,
I don't want to take over your whole
that's what we're here for.
Man, the forgiveness actually saved the whole. I was fighting for the children. Mm-hmm. And through the last years, the custody was up into, the support was up in the Supreme Court of where I live in Indiana. Mm. All right, we had to go that far. They did not want to help.
Wow. So
the thing was, I could have been really, really hard. But instead, I chose to forgive. And truly forgive. And when I did, I started to soften.
Yeah.
And I also made a really unusual kind of goal. I asked God, I said, I just want the betterment for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I softened towards my ex-in-laws. I softened towards my ex. I just didn't have that animosity.
Yeah.
Well, I lost face. Okay? Mm-hmm. But I was driving down in Indy one day. All of a sudden, I get a call from my ex-father-in-law. It says, Alena, I know what you were fighting for. I'll tell you what, the kids will always be taken care of. Mm. Now, what it did was the betterment of all. Yeah. They had to win in order to have the graciousness to give back.
To give it back to you.
But if I had been bitter and fighting, I would have never gotten that.
I love that you said they had to win, because I feel like that is a lot of times the block to being able to forgive, right? We always want to win, and when both sides want to win, forget it. There's just no room for
Nobody wins in a divorce.
Nobody wins.
No one.
Like at some point, somebody has to be the one, and a lot of times I feel like, especially when people are going through a difficult breakup or difficult divorce, they feel like, well, why do I have to be the one? I feel like that's a lot of what you hear. Why do I have to be the one to surrender? Why do I have to be the one to release it?
No, you're not releasing, and you're not. Well, do you want to harbor all that hate?
Yeah.
Do you want to harbor all that? Do you know what that does to your body?
Yeah.
Do you know what that does to your life? Every person you meet, you're looking through eyes of a damaged person because you're damaged.
Yeah.
Until you heal, you're damaged because you're carrying baggage into every relationship.
Yeah.
Do you really want that?
Like all that resentment, all of
resentment, and you compare every man to the hurt you had, or every a woman to the hurt you had.
Yeah.
And that poor person doesn't. I once had a client who was divorcing this man, and I had them both, and I taught in Right Relations, where I taught a lot of couples like this. She was in one class, he was in another. She was like, oh my God, he's betraying me, he's cheating on me, la 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 la. And then I met him, and he's the most sweet, docile man. I'm like, okay, that's okay. All right. So I asked him, I said, what's going on? I didn't say she was saying this. He said, I just couldn't live with it. She was so accusatory. She almost made me lose my job. She was calling all the time.
Yeah.
So I went back to her and I said, my gosh, hon, what? Why? And do you remember ever cheating on you? Back, and she thought about it, and she came back to the next class and she said, Alena, it's just that she said, I don't have actual proof. I just had this feeling. I said, well, what's the feeling? And she said, well, I can't really put my finger on it. Comes to find out, she was cheated on in a past relationship.
She had brought it into the new relationship.
She brought it into the new.
Yeah.
And she was killing it.
Yeah. And you hear about this all the time. All of the women out there, I know so many who are like checking phones when they get in a new relationship.
Oh, God. Yeah, computer
no,
messages,
like instant, no
texting.
trust because of what's happened in the past.
No,
Yeah.
you can't do that. You cannot do that. You're polluting it. You're killing it.
Yeah.
And when you do, so when you forgive and you truly let go.
What's on Aaron? I feel like Aaron's burning to say something.
Do you want to say something else?
Wait, I see Suzanne has joined, Krista joined, Joe has joined, and Angela and Chaim.
Right.
What's going on back there, Aaron? I feel like something's burning.
Something's going on.
Right?
Well, just forgive.
Go ahead, just forgive.
Forgive it for you.
Nice.
Aaron, talk about it, honey.
Yeah,
Talk about it, because
I just honestly, it's nice to talk in this namaste, life is good, rainbows and unicorns, but that's not necessarily life when you're in the throes of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, there's a million people out there that are in the throes of it.
Absolutely.
And so I'm positive when we're in the thick of it, we're not gently talking about in this kind of voice, and it's and honestly, like I want you guys, I know you so well, I want you to talk to them as if they're sad, they're pissed, they're hurt, they're cheating. It's not a gut feeling. He is cheating on her or whatever.
Actually, no, but yeah.
Well, not that chick, but you know.
Joe Pryor is amening you, Aaron. He says that is so true. Please make the point that listen up, the new person you are dating won't know what you've been through unless you tell them. Oh, that was Fred. Thank you, Joe. But
no,
Aaron,
it's true.
What you're saying is
it's
true
like,
too.
Okay, I'm in a new relationship. I'm a little crazy still from the last one.
Yeah.
Like, give us tools that we can, so we're not sabotaging our relationship
yes.
or like the new one.
Yes.
Like, because this woman didn't know she was sabotaging it, right? Like, she just really thought this guy, and then shame on the guy for just being like, not letting, like, what should we do? Because I get it, I'm divorced, and, you know, I try to get my baggage into my like a little carry-on now. It's not so much luggage anymore, but like to be all just involved about it I don't think that's going to work.
Well, what you do need to forgive, and you need to work on yourself. Okay. And if you do not, you are not going to be good to anyone or yourself or your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. Well, because you really do bring that hate into every part of your life, that anger. Yes.
I could share. I kind of was on both ends of it. I was in a relationship, and there was a lot of like infidelity and of mistrust. So going into my new relationship, I did bring that with me. What I found was it had nothing to do with him and everything to do with him. You know.
Yes.
More, I would get triggered. There were certain scenarios that would be happening, and I would get triggered that had nothing to do with him. Yeah. I had to go inside, and I had to sit with him. I had to figure out what was it what's going on here. And what I'm finding is the more chaos and the more like that feeling where it's like, you know, like you have to control the situation. More I know it's me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's when I have to take a step back, and I have to like kind of, you know, go into my meditation or whatever it is for that person. You know, somebody it might be a walk. For someone else it might be a walk.
You see what I mean? She's mad.
Someone else it might be a spear. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but how do you know, like, when you need to forgive? Like, I'm kind of riling it up because
it's good
because this is true.
That's who I said I would be. But you know, like, so when you're in the throes of chaos and you're crying and you're sad and you're like being an Eeyore, like it must be nice to be you, like, you know, with the woe is me, like give me some signs of how do you know you're there, and then how you pull yourself out.
Okay, number one, it is very hard to forgive if you still feel like a victim.
That's a good one.
Yes.
But
also that's an indicator that you need to forgive too. Right, like, you're in a space of
but you do know when you're a victim. It was pointed out to me when in 2010, because I filed in 2009. It was pointed out to what?
By your in-laws? Just check. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it was by a girlfriend. And I remember I was complaining. I was being bitchy. I know it's hard to believe I'm such a saint.
It
but
is.
I was being pretty bitchy. And she said, Alena, take care of your own circle. And at that moment, it made me, at first I thought, what is she saying? Is she saying I'm being a nosy? But is she really? But then I stopped and I started thinking about it. And I thought, oh my God, because every time I complained, every time I pushed it off and blamed, I became a victim because I was putting it out there.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything about it. So if my kids were now failing in school because of this divorce, it was his problem.
Yeah.
It was his fault.
Yeah.
Do you see?
That's interesting.
If they're not happy, it's his fault.
Yeah.
And we would do that all the time. But I started to take a look at my circle and I thought, okay, I'm going to take a look at my kids. I'm going to start taking a look at our finances. I am going to pull this family together. And I actually went and I wrote down 5, I think there's 5 family. I said, what do I want my kids to really, I'm breaking their world.
Yeah.
What do I want them to remember about family when they're 30 years old and they have their own family? What do I want them to really value? And I wrote down 5 of them. And one of them was that I wanted them to know that family was always support and love. And that we are strong and we work together. I put these down. I still have those on my bedstand now.
Yeah.
And it guides our family. I took things into control. I made our families strong so the kids didn't feel like they were being tossed into a storm. And then I started to forgive to pull that family together. That's when I could start to forgive. Why? Because I wasn't a victim anymore. Yeah. I was actually taking pro steps to take control of our life and build the family. I felt more empowered.
Yeah.
You have to feel empowered.
But what I'm hearing and what you're saying is that the pain was enough that it opened up your willingness to do the inner work. Like, I feel like you get to a point where the pain is enough, where this hurts so bad that if I don't do something about it, and stop putting it out there, that, I
actually just
start
saw
the
a
seeking.
quote. You have to break your heart enough times. Was the quote.
What were you going to say? You want to say something, Shanton?
Yes.
We have some male energy up in the room, y'all. Shanton, please.
He has something to say.
What do you have to say?
I can sympathize with women.
Yeah.
Because I've been through that.
Yes.
Being with someone, being cheating every time you go out, where you're going, what you're doing. God forbid you don't answer your phone.
Oh, I know.
Or you don't text back right away, or you said you're only going to be gone for 5 minutes. It's annoying. And I remember going through that at that time. And I remember saying to myself, I really wish I was having. It's this and that, or you heard this, or someone saw it. It's like, okay, I said I was going to CVS, but I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, what is the crime in that?
Yeah,
right.
But to piggyback on what you said as far as like, what do you do? Because when you're hurting, absolutely positive. The first thing is you have to forgive you.
Yes.
You have to forgive yourself, and like she said, that forgiveness is for yourself. It's not for the other person.
Never.
It's so that you can release all the bad blood, all the ill will and toxins out of your body towards that person. Because if you don't, it leads to all kind of health problems and ulcers, and it's just not good. And another thing that I've learned, when someone wrongs you, especially when it's someone that you love and care about, your emotions are tied to them, praying for them always helps. Because prayer breeds intimacy with who you pray to, for, and with. And what happens is when you pray for that person, and I know some of y'all are saying, pray? What do you mean pray? I want to slap them with a hammer. But you have to.
Yeah, you do.
You have to
You don't slap them with a
You have to release that negative energy somewhere.
You do.
And then how you know giving this person is if you driving at ShopRite and you see them and you don't want to run them over with your car, that's when you know.
That's how you know.
If you see them come out and you your foot hits the gas,
You haven't forgiven them.
It's still in there.
That is good advice.
That is very
Thank
good.
you.
Well, when they no longer have control over your state, your emotional state, whether you see them or not. If you're still walking around stewing about somebody, you know you have.
You still have
a name and your blood starts boiling, then you're not over it.
And one of the big ones, if you are looking at that next person you want to date, and your mind goes back to your ex, and you're comparing all the faults, and you're not ready.
Right.
You are not ready.
You know?
So, but you want to know a really quick thing that people can do, because sometimes just praying is hard.
Yeah.
But I have a little, gratitude, and even on the darkest days, you should be doing gratitude. Because gratitude is brings you to such a fantastic vibration, and it opens the connection to something bigger. But just sit down and say, you can say, I do, thank you. But you can say, I'm so happy and grateful now, however you want to start it. But write 5 to 10 things you're grateful for. And really feel that. Feel it, because it's the best part of your life, no matter how bad life is.
Yeah.
And then ease into, I always get quiet after that, and I ask for guidance. And after I do that, then at first, I set loving light. You're supposed to send loving light to 3 people or things that are bothering you. Now, when you're getting divorced, you got a lot. Sometimes it was 6.
Yeah.
So then sometimes you have to sneak in the door, and it works. And it's sneaky. I know it's sneaky, but it works. So I'm putting loving light around my dog, Ralphie, who is just tearing up the house at some point, and my ex too. That was the first one.
Yeah.
So I snuck it in. Did you see?
Yes.
So I got that loving light going, and then the next time I was like, all right, I really do put loving light around my ex. I really do. And then I see that loving light going around. And it's hard at first, but you do it gradually. And then before you know it, you can pray for them. But you start with the loving light. But even the loving light itself changes things.
Yeah.
It really does change things. I have seen just incredible things change with that.
It's practice.
Whole situations, because it changes your attitude towards it.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do.
Causing transformation. It's it has to be a slow evolution sometimes.
It has to be a slow evolution. It is slow.
Right? I found kind of making them a little human.
A little human.
A little human. You know, we're in the throes of it, we make them like this big
monster.
But if we understand their behavior, and maybe what's motivating that behavior, you know, and then for me, it helps me not to take it so personal.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all there.
And I hate to tell you, but you know what? It takes 2 to tango.
Right.
That is very true.
It most certainly
And
does.
so you got to kind of look at yourself too and say, okay, and you don't even have to add emotion to it. Just kind of look at it. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And you'll see that really every single time you will see how did it, you did it, he did it. It's this little dance.
Yeah.
And
nobody knows who hurt who first.
No.
It becomes a thing where
It
you
just
can't even
becomes
remember.
this talk. And then before you know it, it's erupted in a divorce. Well, where else was it going to go?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's sort of that. So when you look at it that way, that also helps you to forgive easier.
Yeah.
It takes you
like
taking
own your
the
shit.
Own your shit.
Right?
Own your shit.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to do that first. Like,
Yeah.
Right,
it's
it takes
easier.
time.
I think it's easier to see their behavior.
Oh, totally.
And,
it's that finger point. Like, it's always easier to wrong someone else.
Behavior, and now you can soften it a little bit, because you're like, well, maybe, so this behavior is motivated this way.
Yeah.
So now it softens it a little bit. Now you're kind of like a little more human.
Yeah.
And then that kind of softens you down a little bit. And then you could be like, I did do that, and you know what, I did do that. You know, and
that's
kind of
the
now
dance.
it starts the process of you seeing it,
dance.
you know, and how, like Alena said, the dance.
Yeah.
The little dance.
Barbara, you wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
Project.
Okay. So coming from my point of view, working with energy, so I look at it totally different.
Right. I heard you on another interview. I heard you say
so
that. Yeah.
what I would say is, well, what if relationship, you know, it's like we're not cave people. We don't walk around with loincloths and sticks of fire anymore.
Right.
So there is change.
Right.
And
Thank
the
God
world
for that.
we're living in now, there's a lot of change that a lot of people don't know about, and it's called consciousness. So what if relationship is nothing like we were brought up with?
Right.
And what if relationship is not even supposed to last?
Right.
Because it can't last, because all we are molecules of consciousness that keeps changing.
Right, as we evolve.
So it would be almost impossible to put 2 people together and expect them not to change.
Exactly.
And if they do change, which they will, what are the chances that they're going to change in the same way? So If we take that and we actually look at that and talk about conscious communion, not relationship, because the word relationship actually means the distance between 2 points.
Right.
So if we look at it that way,
True.
and the new generation is being that way, marriage is going out because they know, they look at their parents and they see everyone is divorced.
Right.
So what if we could just be in total allowance for whoever the person is, knowing they're going to change, and being aware that when they do start changing, it's not a wrongness. It's just what is. And if it's not working for you, then it's time to say goodbye.
That is a school of thought that's coming more and more prevalent, especially in the millennials.
Yes.
And they are having they're starting to get, I have to applaud the millennials, because when they do get married, they think of it more as equal partnership. There's more and more of that coming in, and that is a good way.
Yes.
And I do believe,
although you do have to get to an awareness to get to that level.
it has to be a very high awareness.
Yes, but the younger people are more like that.
Yeah.
And it is kind of cool that people do come into our lives to teach. We are a spirit within a body.
Yeah.
We are not a body within a spirit. So if we're talking about this and divorce and everything, if we start to realize that, we also have to know that situations come into our lives that are to teach us, because we're evolving, we're experiencing, we're evolving, and when we're evolving, we need lessons to learn.
Yeah.
So it's just another reason why to forgive.
Yeah.
And when you forgive, you also learn the lessons. It's not just, oh my gosh, I just forgive, I'm free. It's like, what did I learn from this?
Yeah. Opportunity in everything, I believe.
Opportunity in everything.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I also think, though, the goal is to change together.
Well, yeah, that would be nice.
Well, I don't know that that's a possibility, because I feel like, we're all individual. We all come from our individual. Like, we can grow together in the sense that we can definitely enroll each other in our visions and our intentions and our commitments and things like that. But because we come from different places, different parents, different experiences, and different baggage. Like Erin was saying, hers is a carry-on. Some people might have a big 40-gallon, Louis Vuitton, whatever. It's like, because we do come with such variables, trying to affect being able to grow at the same rate or growing together at the same time is a very...
communication and being checked in, I feel, is so key.
I think, you know what, I just helped a couple with this. And this is what's happening. A lot of people come to me, they're 55, 60, and what's happening is that, oh my God, he's home. He's retired. And she's saying, I could barely take it when he was at work and he came home, and now he's home. No, this is real, you know? And it's that whole generation. So, and really, and there was a big play. She had always felt her power she let her power be taken away. It was taken away. She would do things she didn't want to do, go places she didn't want to go, and she was getting very bitter, and she's the sweetest lady in the whole wide world, and she's getting bitter. So what we did was we worked on it. It all starts with you. Even though you think it's all them, it's you. Yeah. So we worked on her feeling empowered herself, feeling confident. She didn't have to go places if she didn't want to. She could stand her ground. And then when she finally got there, and she got really strong with that, I might say, when she finally got there, he wanted to keep working on the relationship.
Wow.
Aww. Then I told her, you have to make the decision. Do you want to keep working? And she said, yes. So now they're learning. When she says, well, he's doing this, I say, well, that's who he is. Yeah. Can you accept it? And then it comes to this game where you start to grow together. You can't grow the same, but you can start to understand that you guys are who you are.
Yeah, accept.
How do we build our life together? Yeah. And how do we do things together but allow ourselves to be separate? Yeah. And that's where she's now exploring that and having a blast. Yeah. So it is possible.
But that goes back to what you were saying before, Fern, about when we realize that we're not controlling the other person, or we can't control the other person, and it's just, we can get into a space of letting that person be who they are. And
I will tell you, once I got into that space, I'm drawing him in even more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Now that I'm I got my own thing, and I'm doing, and just focusing on myself. Yeah. Not making it. I think we have this misconception that other person's supposed to fill us.
Yeah.
The other person's
No,
supposed
no.
to give us our happiness.
Yeah.
The other person's supposed to fill this void when that all has to come from us.
Yeah.
That all has to come from within.
Right.
You
And
can't
so
get
once
what
I
you don't
understood that and I started like really doing things for myself, like, I don't know, come to the candy show.
I love it, Parker. That's your self-care, honey. I love it.
So, when I started really doing things for myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now he's, drawn more into, like,
Sure.
well, we're going, I don't understand it,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Well, and she's talking, Mila Angelou even said, you cannot get a shirt off a man who doesn't have it.
Yes.
Oh,
Meaning, you cannot
I never heard
get-
that. That's
Oh,
amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
She was so cool. She actually, but really what it is you can't get what you don't have.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if you are full of bitterness and sour apples, then that person you get, you
You're
can't
gonna attract a mirror.
You're going to attract the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, so that's what she's talking about. Now that she's ready, right? She's ready.
Right.
She is going to start attracting the person who is also ready.
Vibrating where she is.
Vibrating
right?
where she is. Energy.
So we got a couple people on the Lee says, forgiveness is for you. It does not mean forgetting. Learn from it, grow from it. Anger and hatred eat you up. Thank you for that, Lee, chiming in. And Joe Pryor says, gratitude is extremely necessary every day. Thank you, Joe.
Wow, what a great audience.
Right? I see Marja joined and Joseph and PJ joined.
Hey, PJ.
Hey, PJ. So I want to get to, because I did have a couple of client questions, just things that have come up. I do an emergency call. It's an emergency communication crisis call where people can just sign up for a call with me, and it's a 1 hour one-off session.
Wow.
So I
good for you.
recently, right, just,
that's
it's
nice.
a way to get to know me,
Yep.
and it's also a way I will give you some sort of takeaway
Yep.
or some sort of tool, something that will help you with whatever's in the moment,
I do
right?
that too, yeah. I
So
understand.
recently
That's
I
great.
had one, and this was one of the issues that she came up with.
Okay.
I want us to talk about it a little bit. She said, I share custody of my daughter with my ex-husband. Our custody agreement states that neither of us can leave the city we live in without the other's permission. I have a dream of living in a city a few hours away, and I'm putting it on hold for 9 years until my daughter is of age. In the meantime, I'm struggling with my overall happiness. What do I do? I feel like there's people out there who are in, like, there's so many custody agreements that put limits on the parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we think about that? Has anybody, I mean, I know that you have had a similar situation. Where you
I
had to deal
wouldn't
with
be in
that.
Indiana.
No.
Heck no. I mean, I'm an Eastern girl at heart. Indiana's nice.
Yeah.
And I have beautiful friends there and everything, but it's not where I would first live.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm there for 4 more years. I'm counting 2. But this is the thing. Yes, you have to be there. Okay. The court said it. If you signed it, then you signed it. So there you are. And really, your kids do need both parents. I know you hate to hear that, but they definitely do. They need it because each one gives them an identity in some way.
Sure.
Thank you.
I feel a little energy. I feel like Shannon has something to share around
But
this.
let me just, one thing,
Yeah, let me
make
finish and then
your
you,
beauty,
Shannon.
yeah, then you're gone. Because I want to hear it. But really, this is the thing. You've got to make the beauty and what you want around you. I didn't want to live in Indiana, but I'll tell you what, I decided where I wanted to live. I made my home shabby chic French because that's what I like. I play the music I like. I created the friends that I like. I bring in the friends. I live the way I want to anywhere I live. So even if you're not happy, you create your circle. So if you can do that, it makes it, all right, I got 4 more years, but I can do it.
Yeah.
And I've got the wonderful community around me to help me. Do you see?
Yeah.
Versus, oh my God, I got to live in this state. Oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And that just, it's you got to change your attitude. You got to change your attitude. And if you are not allowed to go somewhere, then darn it, I'm going to make it where I am happy. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
It's resolve.
Like Jesus.
Yes.
You can also keep the lines of communication open. So
Yes. Let's hear.
my son's dad and I are still very good friends, and I saw a really awesome, what I thought was a great opportunity moving to a different town area, but that was past the 20 miles we agreed upon. And I just called him and I said, hi. So I was thinking,
Yep.
and we talked, and we all moved.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He moved, I moved, my son moved, and now we're all in a new location.
Cool.
And it's nothing. It's not different states or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
But it's 45 to 50 minutes away. I mean, but so 9 years. Like, maybe not 9 years, right?
Maybe not.
Like, maybe if you want to go to Paris, okay, like,
Right.
what's the French word for hang in there? But,
right?
I'm just saying, like,
I don't know.
with
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
like, we were talking about forgiveness and
Right,
softening,
right,
and
right.
your father-in-law called you, and,
Yep.
like, if your person is so rigid right now, that doesn't mean they're
he will
always going
not
to be.
stay. He will not.
It just, things change, and it doesn't mean it's set for 9 years.
No.
Just politely have the
But
conversation.
wherever but if you all, that's true.
In time.
Have the communication. But if you can I'll tell you what really helps. So if you make the environment around you what you want it to be, then when you ask,
It's from a space of like,
it's of
Truly
happiness.
from a new opportunity, not because I want to win.
Because I want to win and I got to get out of this
No,
place.
I was having a
Softens,
ball.
right?
I was having
right.
so much fun.
Well, that's what made it.
Yeah.
Both
I
parties
have
are
something,
coming
and then
equal.
but I want
Go ahead.
Shanton to say what was on his
Yeah.
mind because he
What
was
were you
burning
saying?
with something.
Two things. First thing I want to say is definitely talk to him. Suggest whatever your plans are. That's if the child or children go with you, that summer or whatever. Try to figure it out, work it out. I mean, the best way to find out is to find out.
Yeah.
But to piggyback off what Alena said, as far as children needing both parents, because there is a dynamic that the father brings just on. I tell the story that as a father, I have 3 children, 2 daughters, 1 son from my marriage. I am the first male. Daughters are.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
you hear women say all the time, I want to date a guy like my dad. Whoever had their dad in their lives. Because there was something that he, brought into their lives that they identify with that says, he's a good guy, I want somebody like him. Mm-hmm. On the flip side of that coin, my ex-wife is the first woman that my son is exposed to. Mm-hmm. So he's either going to date women like his mother or the total opposite, depending on the relationship between the two. So, it takes two for these children to show up. So it takes 2 people to raise. Even if, and this is something that, and I'm going to share my transparency.
Go ahead, Sam.
My father wasn't a part of my life. So at 13, I had made a decision. I said, you know what? My children will never experience the pain that I went through of my dad not being here. So I go overboard for them.
Yeah.
Never missed nothing, always been there, sacrificed, supported, said yes when I should have said no, and everything else because I know what it was like, as a 3-sport athlete to talk to your daddy. He's like, yeah, I'm going to come to your game and you're out there on the field or the court or whatever, and you're looking in the stands and you don't see him. So you're heartbroken. And so it's like, one thing my kids will always say, my dad he was always there, very supportive, everything. But what I'm saying is I found out in my later years that my dad never knew his dad. So I broke the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now
that's good.
And I talk to my son all the time. He's getting ready to go to college and everything. So it's just, even if it doesn't work out the relationship, you still maintain a personal relationship with your child. And for you parents out there who are being bitter and not allowing the mothers or the fathers to see their children because of whatever happened between you and him or him and her or whatever, guess what? The children are the ones that suffer.
Yeah.
And you're being petty and childish, and you need to
Absolutely.
because the children
Alena's shaming you.
No shame show.
You're talking and she's doing
I know it's a no
She's
shame.
shaming people out there.
You gotta stop
I
that.
feel real honest.
You gotta stop.
It's just so true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because you got so many good
got to
dads
be
who
there.
can't see their kids because the mother's bitter, or she's
Or
resentful,
she says terrible
or he left her for
things.
somebody else,
Yeah.
and she feels like, oh, that should be my house or my car. Or whatever.
No.
Get over it, and vice versa. You got men out there who only want to go see their child because of the hopes of having sex.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the house to see the child, they don't even entertain the children. They're trying to get the mother in the back room and everything else. And then so it's like, yo, come on, man.
You know,
I know you're right.
it is a gift.
It's all coming up, but
You never use children as a pawn.
Never
use them as
But what you're touching on, Shanton, is how the adults make it about them and about their relationship. But it also speaks back to what Aaron said, which goes back to what you said, Alena, about forgiveness. Because when you can get into a space of forgiveness, you can co-parent, and you can be friends and agree on different things and maybe be more flexible. And in the space of everyone being enrolled in what's best for the child, what's best for the child is that both parents are happy and fulfilled, right? And filling themselves up.
Absolutely.
And if we can find a way to be in forgiveness with each other and get to a space where we're like, we're committed to having this child be happy and whole and fulfilled and all of that stuff. Things like that can happen. That's a miracle for a lot of people.
It is a miracle.
To be able to say, my ex is moving also because
very mature on his behalf.
it's
Very mature.
And to just be able to attend a soccer game for your kids, and you actually can sit there laughing.
Yeah.
That your
For
kids
some people,
look at that
that's
and they
miraculous.
see that. That's big.
Yeah.
And it's also so much.
When you make it about the children, you never go wrong.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
My children have siblings from their father's first marriage. And, it was rough in the beginning. It was. But they came to a point where their mother and I about them. It
Changes everything.
all the world of the difference.
It does.
Because now my children have such a phenomenal relationship with their unfortunately they lost their father about 4 years ago. Killed in a car accident. But because they're so tight knit, because they have such a great relationship, now the 6 of them, I know.
Girl. Are you taking care of all of them? Like, okay.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Wait, did you guys hear what he just said?
No.
Say it again.
I was about to say, you need to get cable.
That was
that is good.
But the 6 of them now have a great, phenomenal, really strong, relationship.
That's cool.
with one another. And had their mother and I really, I'm not going to put it all on her, and it's not, it takes, like Alena said, it takes 2. Had we stayed in a place of that bitterness, suffered.
Right. Like what Shanton said about ending the cycle.
Ending the cycle.
Doing something
not
different.
knowing at the time, but their dad not having all the time, 42 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's so young.
My youngest was 14.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if we were bitter and we didn't allow the children to be with their dad, and then he passed away,
It's so sad.
that would have been a whole other Oprah show.
Yeah, it would have been another Oprah show.
Oh, yeah. It's a waste.
So, it's important. So when you make it about the kids, you just never go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone once told me something years ago. My kids were really small, and it really stuck with me. Said, "You're okay. Your kids are okay.
Yes.
Yep. Your kids will always take care of
yourself up.
That's exactly right. Well,
I love that.
and it really stuck
create
with
their
me over
world
the
in
years.
a lot of ways.
I love it. All right, we got another. Here's the thing. The hour goes by so fast. 'Cause we're at 49 already, which is crazy. I could talk to you guys all night. I wish we could go for hours.
too.
But let's try to get another question in, and then I want you to tell everybody where they can find you.
Okay.
What you want them to look for, and all of that stuff. Okay. So the next question is. I was married to a famous and very talented man who passed away. I have since remarried and divorced and had brief relationships with many others, but no one can live up to who he was privately and publicly. How do I move past this and have a deep, intimate connection with someone new?
Okay, yeah. Now, and this is kind of another ball game because you really admired and loved this man so incredibly much. And that is important. And it's also a level of grief. And you're measuring everybody up to him, which, you know what, I'm aware of them for them. I hate to tell you, but it comes to grief is a funny animal. Everybody has to grieve in their own way, and it's a process, and it's all related to your spirituality, your religion, how you feel about the afterlife. There's a lot of things at play here. And grief is never easy. No one should ever tell you it's easy. I don't care who it is. But I do know that it's a process. And it's not that you're going to say that someone is going to be better than your husband was. It's coming to the point that you accept that your husband was that very talented, awesome man that you loved dearly, that is probably still with you somewhere and will always be. But you'll get to the point where you can open the door to another man who does not have to compare, can be his own man, bring you different gifts, different kind of love, in a different kind of way. But it is a process. It's a process of you getting to that acceptance of where he is and being able to move on from it. I haven't been able to move on from it yet. It is a process. It's never easy.
Right? No.
It's just not.
It isn't. Because the thing, too, it's like you have to hurt as long as you hurt. And not prolong your hurt, but the pain has its own, it's there until it's not there anymore. It is. Right?
And it doesn't ever go away.
No.
Well, I didn't say that. But it goes away when it goes away.
Well,
you know what I mean? And if you try to force it to go away, you elongate it.
No, you can't. You do. You elongate it. So you have to go through the motions. And then grief will get where it kind of just like at times washes over you, but you get an acceptance to it. It washes over and then it's gone. Sometimes that washover will be so intense and then it goes. It's a funny animal. But I do know that if you're comparing everyone to that wonderful man, no one's going to measure up. You've got to accept.
There's only one him.
There's only one him.
Right.
And the poor guy who's coming up to you doesn't have a chance to even show his gifts.
Here's the deal.
So,
go ahead.
So I'm going to go next.
I feel Aaron's burning too.
Here's
Go ahead.
the deal with that
I love
question. It's dealing with a soul tie.
right.
And because a soul is tied to her first love, nobody ever measures up. But here's the downside of that. You're going to rob yourself of the true love that you want and deserve, and then you're going to rob the person who's supposed to give it to you because constantly he's on the scale to your first husband.
Right.
And then, he's never going to be your first husband because he's not your first husband. And so until you release yourself of this soul tie and get him out of your consciousness, it's really...
It takes time.
It takes time. I don't know how long
that's the grief.
I don't know how long it's been, but you really need to work on yourself and heal in that situation. But until you do that, you'll never be happy because no one will ever measure up. And I'm telling you from not from experience, but my aunt's the same way.
Yeah.
But she had a husband who passed away.
Died in 1984, and everybody after him, everybody's like Larry.
Nobody's like,
but don't laugh because it is serious.
It's like we try to talk to her, but it doesn't matter. It's been 35 years ago now.
Go ahead, Aaron has
I think grief is a cruel mistress because
it is a cruel mistress.
I think that when someone good is taken away from us in a awful way,
right,
and to memorialize that person in this frozen place of just perfection.
Right.
And I'm thinking not just romantic relationships. I'm thinking so many of the people that are just awesome that I've lost. But if I'm really being honest, like they have their days, they've had their moments, they've had their things, but I can't get past that because they were taken too early, or this shouldn't have happened to them. And we're telling ourselves this story. And it's true. It's a true story that whatever took them, right? 9/11 or cancer or a car accident or whatever. I mean, short of them doing something that you personally think is a terrible, awful way and they deserve to die. Like, who says that, by the way? Like, short of that. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that you go like, oh, drugs. There's deaths that make you go, well, had he not done that, then he wouldn't have done that, that wouldn't have happened, or had he not been in that alley naked with a box of chocolate and a gun, then that wouldn't have happened. This isn't this woman's case, right? So, no, I'm trying to add some humor to it because I think like we just put them in and they should
put them as a little
but then
dating
from that perfection is impossible.
Yeah.
You have to accept.
And that's her
It's
issue.
the acceptance. Well, she has to she has to go through the grieving process first. Then she has got to learn to accept. Now, the ways that she can do that, and it's not going to happen before that.
No, I mean, but she could try a box of chocolate.
No, if you love chocolate, but I don't think that's going to help.
And make it.
But I'll tell you,
The gun, she can, that's
now
phase two.
listen, what she can do, first of all, is she needs to get out.
Yeah.
The worst thing you do, I see so many people when their spouses die, they stay inside and bemoan it and they create a shrine. That is one of the most dangerous things you can do. So you need to get out, and you have to get to friends that will listen, friends that will help you grow. You need to, even a support group.
But
There are a
also,
lot
too, you
of
know what,
groups.
Elena, what comes up as you're talking to, I think, and this is not to be callous against someone who's going through grief or if they're feeling the loss of someone, because I do think that that's very, very valid. I get it. I've lost people. I know what that means. But I also know that as humans, sometimes we're so fearful of crossing over into, what is possible and what we can really have that is good, that we will hold on to that painful thing,
the word,
right? And we will hold on to that grief or that resistance to something so tightly that it then no longer becomes about the sadness. It's about this is my story, and my story keeps me safe from coming out of my comfort zone, and I don't have to connect with anybody else.
Yes, and that's why you have to reach out. You have to get them out. My mom lost 2 in 10 years' time.
Wow.
My father by ALS, and then the second love of her life by cancer in 10 years' time. So, and my mom is not me. God love her. Love you, Mom. I do.
A whole different thing.
Totally. And the one thing she wanted to do was seclude herself. And so it was really important for us, and be the martyr. And it's very safe. And she doesn't like to come out of her house anyway. So it was really double. What we had to do was take the steps to get her out, have her meet people, have her get out and live life, have her volunteer somewhere eventually, or just she loves books, get into a book group. Start to help her urge her to step forward and claim her life back. I once had a man, this wasn't a spouse, he actually lost his child. His child committed suicide. And he felt so much guilt because he was a doer and the child wasn't, and he felt he pushed the child. Well, whatever the reason, but he had a horrible shame, and he was just living in a shrine.
We got 1 minute. I want you to tell the audio people where they can find you. I hate to interrupt you. We have a few more minutes.
Well,
for the
if you
Facebook.
ever want to hear that story, let me know.
You're gonna have to
if you want to talk to me, you can text 41411, and then in the text line just say meet Alena and schedule a time. But if you want to learn more, you can also go to Alena, which is ALENA 360.com.
Awesome. Okay. The Armed Radio Global people, thank you for listening. And thank you to all the people that joined in this fabulous conversation. Facebook people, don't leave yet. Armed Radio Global, we love you. Remember, you are a love machine. If you ever start to feel like you're not getting enough, just make more and ask for Candy. I love you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Facebook Live people, we're going to wrap up. We want to hear the rest of Alena's story. If you're out in the audio, get on Facebook so you can watch us live and hear the rest of Alena's story.